Hi, I'm Joey Rullo, and I'm 56 years old. I'm from Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey. And a little bit about me is I just really, really enjoy life itself, zoos and aquariums, waterfalls, nature, the Jersey Shore, ocean swimming, just daily life. But you know what? Recently, AI. AI has excited me so, so much. So much. And, I really focus on uh, Chat GPT. And what really touches me with it, in my story is I remember when I was a boy, my father, back in the early 90s, he was one of the first people who got one of those cell phones and, basically, and he started talking about email. And I said, oh, that's never, ever going to make it, email. That's never going to catch on. And sure enough, email became one of the biggest things in the whole world, right? And when AI came out, and I'm like 55 and I'm saying, I need to do this because I want to be part of this generation. I want to be part of this new technology. And my father, since then, has passed of brain cancer. But my dad was so unbelievable. He was one of the first people to have one of those phones that Obama had. I forgot the name of the cell phone. Really, really popular in the early 90s. And with the emails, and I said, I need to do this because other people are writing it off, the technology, because it's so complicated to them. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to do this. And what I did is I ended up with the University of Maryland. They offered a free course, and I ended up getting a certificate there. And then I ended up starting like a little business with it, even though, it's hard to catch on because a lot of people are afraid of using, the all the different things with AI. But so the things that you were asking, how you use the platform, I love the platform in the sense that I can take like advertising and things like that, and just being at 56 years old, and being sometimes limited, as we get older, we get tired, and we are not as top on top of things as we normally were. And for this to be able to exponentially increase our potential for creativity, for expanding what we want to say. And the other thing, too, is your brain, when you're 56 years old and on, it's so important that you do new things. For example, I started collecting stones, and there's a million different names, but they're long names. And I memorized 300 of these stones. I said, AI, I got to do this. And at first I said, oh, I'm not going to do it. I'm afraid to do it. This is new technology. It's not going to catch on anyway. And I realized I was afraid of it. So I embraced it and I mastered it, and I go on Chat GPT. I played around. I know this sounds kind of crazy, but I did like an obituary, for myself. Not that I'm going to die, but I just was like, I got to see what this thing says. It pulls everything off the internet about me and literally knew it. And I added a few things. In addition to, it does the same thing with anything you ask it to do. And it's so exciting that, you look into things like, for example, with municipalities and governments, they're using Chat GPT in townships, but they're not basically being regulated. And there's so much potential. There's so much unexplored territory. I want to make sure I have everything here. Um, and why this experience mattered so much to me is I want to be part of this new technology, this Wild West, if you will, this incredible uh, gift that was given to us, right, by God. I mean, this thing is just amazing, and it's unlimited what you can do with it. And like I said, I did start an AI consulting business, and I was all gung ho, but a lot of the services that are offered, there's so many people doing it now, that on the business end, I think it is catching on, where people are using the agents and the chat bots and stuff like that. Um, but there's a lot of people that are older that are really negative about this, and they're afraid of it. And it's sort of like back in the day, in 95, which I was younger then, but I said, oh, email's never going to catch on. And look at my dad was so right about it, and I want to be ahead. I want to be the leader in this, and I am. And I'm proud to say when I saw this, I was like, wow, this is really cool. This is something I want to be involved with. This is something that I want to, tell my story. And at first I was like, I don't know how unique my story is, but it is unique. It's unique in the sense that I learned my lesson from the past, that email exploded, it became what it is, and the future is going to be AI. And if you don't learn it, you're going to be obsolete. And if you don't learn it, you're not going to be part of this expanding. And there's a lot of fear mongering, and people are really afraid. Um, so, with that being said, I just want to make sure I answered all of your questions here. Yeah. So, um, thank you for the opportunity to do this video. And I look forward to, potentially working with you in the future. And I just was so excited and am excited. And I just dove into it. And you know what? I took a class at Maryland University, online, and it was free, and it was for AI. And I learned it inside and out. And I started using ChatGPT, and I'm going to use it all the time. And instead of having to write things, it expands to what I'm going to write. So if you're having a problem, putting out, something or material that you need to do, it expands your horizons. And the other thing is you have to know how to prompt. And I learned how to prompt. And I learned prompting is an amazing thing. And it's just something that a lot of people like coding, but now you don't have to code. Anybody can prompt, but you just have to practice every day. So thank you very much, Joey Rullo, from Little Egg Harbor, New Jersey. And I look forward to hopefully talking to you soon. Thank you.